Until Dawn set a very high bar for interactive survival horror, and the question that everyone wants to know is, does the casting of Frank Stone stack up? The collaboration with Dead by Daylight eschews campiness in favor of a more sinister tone, which is a strong new direction for Supermassive. Sadly, the casting of Frank Stone has a lot of the same criticisms and issues from their previous games. It might not be as good as Until Dawn, but it's their best work since that is sure to please fans of both interactive survival horror and Dead by Daylight. Supermassive have done an excellent job of not only making this a great entry point for newcomers, but have also created a game that offers a slightly heightened experience for those with knowledge of the IP. The casting of Frank Stone displays Supermassive at their most confident, and they don't waste time with an incredible first chapter, telling a horror story that isn't restricted to the 80s slasher stereotypes or the haunted archetypes of the Dark Pictures anthology. The end result is that there is a more even tone throughout. The scares are still here, but there's less of a reliance on cheap thrills and more of an emphasis on a slow-burning tension. The game takes place mostly in two strongly realized locations, including an old countryside mansion and an industrial mill over the course of 3 timelines. The visuals are easily the best that we have seen from Supermassive and feel like a big step forward from the Dark Pictures anthology. Character models overall are better than ever, lighting gives a strong sense of atmosphere, and there is an excellent score that captures the darker tone of the story. Combining all of these elements together creates an immersive experience with an underlying tension throughout. Like most Supermassive games, the experience will take you about 8 hours, but you can always return for different attempts to see how different decisions alter the outcome. This is aided by the cutting room floor, a feature which allows the player to go directly to key decision points and continue from there to change the outcome. When it comes to horror, the most important factor is immersion, and this is where you'll find most of the missteps of the casting of Frank Stone. As mentioned, if you've played any of Supermassive's titles, none of this will come as a surprise. The controls can feel stiff and awkward at times. There are loads of invisible walls or ways that you can't go that are only blocked by knee-high objects, which didn't feel realistic considering the gravity of the situation. The skill checks also lacked variation, and even though they were faithful to Dead by Daylight, by the end they just felt repetitive. It also breaks immersion when performances don't feel consistent with the immediacy of the situation. When the visuals and performances are as good as they are, it shines a spotlight on ones that lack the same attention. Exploring and venturing off the beaten path feels menial at times. Mostly, you'll just discover collectibles. It's also a bit frustrating when you can only pick up objects that you need to progress only once the story has revealed that you need these items. It's clear that an item is important and needed, so why can't the character pick it up and just say something like, "This looks important, I'll probably need this later." The other weird thing with items is that huge objects just magically fit into pockets. Either give the character a backpack or just have them carry the item around. Either one would keep the player immersed. The sinister tone of Dead by Daylight has pushed Supermassive outside of its comfort zone, which has resulted in one of their strongest narratives in years. Unfortunately, similar issues that break immersion still hinder the experience from the formula that studio continues to embrace. It might not be their best work, but the collaboration of Dead by Daylight and Supermassive is a win-win. Before leaving, consider subscribing if you learned anything new from the video or enjoyed the vibes. If you're unfamiliar, we're trying to cultivate a community full of positivity that's free from toxicity and negativity. If this sounds like your style, we'd love to have you. One of our main goals is to hit 15,000 subs in 2024, and you can help with just a click of a button. That's everything for today, but until next time, be good to your fellow gamer, but be better to your fellow human.